Good evening, welcome to the Away Day show. And it's just a quick show just about Frank Lampard, who has been sacked. Um, is it surprising? Not really, to be honest. It's been coming a while. When you have someone like Roman Abramovich as, the guy that owns the club, he demands trophies, he demands Chelsea be at a high level. And unfortunately, Frank Lampard was not able to deliver that level. Um, where did it all go wrong? I don't know. I think what he did last season in terms of getting them into the top four probably went against him this season, because anything he done this season would have been hard to match up to last season. And obviously, that now it looks like there's been no progress. He's bought in £200 million worth of players or a bit more, and apart from Silva, who probably was a free transfer, none of them have looked the part. And again, that's gone against him in some matches. They didn't really look like they had a style of playing as well. So, I think it's been coming for a while, and it looks like the fan base is kind of split. I mean, a lot of them probably were Lampard in for a lot longer than he should have been, just because of what he'd done for them as a player and not as a manager. Um, but I was still surprised. I thought he would get to the end of the season before they got rid of him, but it was too much of a risk. They probably asked him, what are your plans to get us out of this muddle? And he probably didn't have an answer for them. So I think that has led to him getting sacked. Um, is it an overreaction? Um, yes and no. I mean, the way they're run, it's not an overreaction. In the general scheme of things, I think it maybe is an overreaction, because the way I look at it now is, Chelsea, I think they've gone 3 seasons now or 4 seasons without winning the Premiership. And it's probably going to be 5, because will Tuchel come in and hit the ground running and make them win the league next season? I'm not 100% sure. Plus, Man United, Liverpool and Man City are going to come back stronger next season. Tottenham might throw their hat in there. So there's a lot more teams able to challenge for the Premiership than in past seasons, where it's only been, 2 clubs a season that challenge, or 3 maximum. Now there's definitely 4 or 5 teams that are pushing or have a big say in the actual way the league finishes at the end of the season. So I don't know if in the future the whole sacking and then getting a new manager in is going to quite work how it used to work. The one thing that Chelsea do have is a bit of cash, so they can sort of spend when they need to, which they've done this season. It hasn't quite worked out, but again, was that down to Lampard, or was it just down to not having enough time to let the players gel together? Um, Lampard's legacy, I mean, his footballing legacy is going to stay forever. I don't think, no matter what he done as a manager, I don't think they could really get rid of what he done, as much as some fans were calling for them to sort of scrap what he's ever done because of the way he's performed as a manager. I don't think that could happen. He was the greatest, or probably their best ever player. And for me, probably one of the best midfielders ever to grace the Premiership. So that legacy is going to stay forever. But in terms of his managerial legacy, I don't know. Bringing youngsters through. I mean, he gave Tomori quite a few games last season. Hudson-Odoi, Mason Mount's been, probably Chelsea's best player this season. Gave Gilmore some time on the pitch. So probably his legacy was giving, some of the youth team players some game time. But other than that, hasn't been much more to sing about. I mean, what he done getting him in the Champions League last season was great, based on the fact that he couldn't sign any players. So for me, he done really well in doing that. But then that's probably led to his downfall this season, in my opinion. Um, What next for Lampard? I mean, I'm calling for Newcastle. I think there's been Celtic rumours. Would he get another Premiership job anytime soon? Not quite sure. Championship, maybe. Um, but I think, he's gone from sort of being nursery straight up to secondary school without doing primary school sort of. You need to go through stages to be a top manager. And I think he's just been, catapulted straight to the top. And he hasn't really learned the game as a manager, to be fair. So I think that's why we felt like he looked a bit confused when things weren't going the way that he thought they should and the way he was probably expecting them to go. So, I'm hoping he gets another crack at the Chelsea job in, 5-10 years time when he's gone away and had that experience, because I feel like he will be a good manager in the future. But right now, it was just the timing wasn't right. It was something that he couldn't turn down, in my opinion, because you don't know if that chance is ever going to come again. So he had a crack at it, and it didn't work. So they've parted company. And just hopefully, yeah, he can get another half decent job and just really learn about the game. And then hopefully, like I said earlier, hopefully he can get another crack at the old Chelsea whip. But it remains to be seen. But yeah, I think Newcastle is a good option, and I think Celtic would be a good option. I'm hoping he gets a Celtic so we can sort of reignite that Lampard and Gerrard rivalry, but I don't know if they're gonna risk it. But I think it'll be a good place because you've only really got Rangers to fight against, so he's gonna be a champion. If he goes out there and wins, it's gonna be a bit easier to be a champion. And I think getting that winning mentality as a manager can only be beneficial for him in the future. So I'm thinking Celtic is a great move for him. So we'll see what happens on that basis. But yeah, that was just me, just giving my quick little what I thought about the whole Lampard thing. He's gonna come back stronger, I think. So hopefully, he does get another big team in the future. But I'm Big Gunner. Please like and subscribe to my videos on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram and on Twitter as Big Gunner. Um, and yeah, just hopefully we don't see any more managers losing their job this season, especially Arteta, because I just don't want that to happen. But it remains to be seen. Everybody have a good evening.